Welcome everybody to my next Let's Play, Skies of Arcadia Legends, my favorite game of all time. Woo! Woo! About time I got to it. Joining me for this one, of course, is going to be Thorn.
Good morning.
And Yoshi.
Hello, hello!
So, I've played this game a lot. This is the Legends Edition, which is actually the second edition they made, or the kind of the director's cut of the game. That was released on the GameCube. The original was released on the Dreamcast. And it's, in my opinion, the only good Sega-based RPG. Don't shout at me that, but I do love this game.
Hey, whoa, whoa, Sonic Adventure was awesome!
Oh, come on, guys. Leveling's fantastic. So, for a little bit of a setup on this, we're going to learn more about the story, but enabling Rumble is a pretty big feature in this game. Doesn't sound like much, but they use Rumble a lot, and unfortunately, you might miss in some of the feels of the game because the Rumble's not there. They used it in really nice details. A lot of older games did that. But here we go with a little bit of the story going on. I'm probably going to have to explain how this world works ahead of time, but it's something you do learn bit by bit as you play. Here comes the slightly Star Wars-esque scene.
The flying whale.
The flying whale. That bride's leaving her wedding.
We laugh, but we don't know if it's a joke or not.
I know, that's the hard part. So far all we know is this ship right here is pursuing the other one. These assholes right here are part of a evil empire known as the Valua Empire, or Valuans. They're going to be our primary antagonists through the majority of the game. We'll get more of an idea how their world kind of works, but this is one of the douchebags known as Alfonso. He's a rich douchebag who got his position because he was rich. But he sucks. And again, clearly a bit of a Star Wars reference because they're using concussion rounds to knock out the princess and everything like that. But you do notice her ship is extremely unique compared to these guys' ships. Everything is going to take place in the air, including islands and lands actually do float in the sky. It's not going to be immediately apparent in the story yet, but below this cloud surface is a big no-no area where if you go down there, no one returns. So everyone lives in the sky in this world.
What is with his hips?
He thinks he looks good. Yeah. Also, this older game, so the voice acting is not too great, and luckily there's not much of it. But it's just you'll hear a little voice claps like "yeah" and things like that. But
gentlemen, missile to B7.
Go fish, motherfucker. I do also like they do add a good amount of emotion to the characters as well, except for these guys. They go, I'm typing, and I look the same as the other guy.
Do they have like toilet helmets?
It's kind of a pointy knight's helmet sort of thing.
Oh.
We are the Flushers.
Yarr. And here come the pirates. Here come our main characters as well, of course.
Don't ask how they fly with sails.
Yeah, I was about to say, what if a seagull accidentally like gets caught in it and they just fall?
The interesting thing is that the sails have been kind of explained as a way of helping the ships be faster and be more maneuverable in the sky.
Okay, I thought he was just gonna fall.
Yeah.
I didn't see the rope.
But this is Vice. He is the main protagonist of the game. He's not exactly a standard protagonist, but he's sorta a standard protagonist. But what I like about him is that, unlike a lot of JRPGs of the time, Vice actually has a personality and a voice. So you get to relate his personality and experiences with other characters. Here comes main character 2, Aika. Aika's awesome. And we'll get to learn a little bit more about these characters as this kind of goes on. So far, there are 2 party members to start this little battle off here to learn about a bit of the turn-based RPG mechanics. And yes, I said turn-based, and I still love it. Shut up.
You notice Aika has 2 cannons on the side of her head.
Yep. She has the most wacky pigtails ever. So this menu is very interesting. I'm going to go you a little bit of it right here. This is the run button. We're not doing that, though.
This is DDR.
Items thing, currently you can go through your equipment. If you do need to change equipment for any reason, which is not really hugely prevalent at this point of the game, but you can from there. That's going to be defend, of course. Standard attacks can be ranged or close. S moves are your special moves. You'll notice there's a gauge at the top of the screen that has 2 out of 8 on it. That is known as your moon energy gauge. That's actually a shared sort of magic gauge that your entire party utilizes to use their moves, including magic spells and special attacks. As the turns progress, you get more of that build-up and be able to use it more. What I'm doing here is that currently I have 2 different elements I can change my weapons from. Each one, kind of help figure out that whole thing with the moons and the different elements, is that this world contains multiple moons of different color. The moons themselves, they'll have like a red moon, a green moon, a silver moon, and things like that. And each of those moons produce and represent a different form of magic. The red moons represent the power of fire, and the green moons more of the energy of life and healing and things like that. So, also, if you notice, certain ones will do more damage than others, so you can switch between the elements to make the attack stronger or weaker. But it has another effect, and I'll show you here on the leveling screen. It's extra experience. But also, when you fight with certain elemental abilities, like if you have red equipped or green, you get experience buildup in those particular elements. And when you build up enough experience, you level up in that particular color, and you get a spell related to that color that way. So you can control how your characters gain spells.
Interesting. Which
is actually pretty useful. Because Vice is not really known for casting spells. He's more of an offensive, so you might want to give him more combat-based spells.
Which is interesting, because he holds his sword in the most inefficient way possible.
Well, they're cutlasses. It's one's a defensive stance and one's an offensive hold. I got...
One of the guys got shot. It's some shitty armor. I'm sorry.
Well, these guys are puny assholes. And this is Vice's dad. He's just like, yeah, thanks, Daddy. We're gonna get going here. But I really lucked out. I ended up picking up an item after the first fight that is incredibly rare. Spontaneously during fights and during large moments, you'll get these things called moonberries. Very rarely, though. I happened to pick one this time. You use moonberries to gain more special abilities, and they're very rare and they're very good. So the fact I already got one's pretty awesome, and you'll see why it's useful. Sacri Crystals, healing crystals, and things like that. So now I'm sneaking on the ship to take out the bad guys. I'm going to be talking a lot about mechanics, so if I don't stop talking, sorry. That's I got a lot of things to explain.
It's the introductory part.
Exactly.
I do have a question. When that thing came up, was the one the amount of the Sacri Crystal?
Yeah, that was the actual amount. So okay. I'm going to kind of go through the list here. If I could just go to the main screen, you'll see that I can switch between items. Sacri is actually the name of the green spell that heals. So each of your items are usually named after something like that. So you can see right here, I can use that Moonberry to teach Vice another special skill. He has one right now called Cutlass Fury, which is like a special flurry that can kill one enemy pretty quick. And we're going to use it this part.
Like cut loose.
I love his title, yep. Vice the Unimpressive.
Oh, that's another thing that I'll explain a little bit more about here in a minute. But so at her, she doesn't have any special attacks at the moment, so I'm going to teach her one. Ica and Vice play quite differently in their strategies, but both of them are incredibly useful. Vice is more of your tank. He can hit hard, he can take hits. Ica, she's not going to necessarily hit as hard on individuals as Vice does, but she has some really good support abilities, and she's probably one of the best people to have around when you want to kill a bunch of weak enemies at once. Because she has a lot of mass hit attacks that don't do a bunch of damage to one guy, but it'll usually kill, like, minor enemies pretty quick. And here's this asshole again. And they try to make this guy as smarmy as possible. Even his voice actor's like, nee. This guy is a admiral of the Valuan Empire, which is the highest-ranking military form. See, listen to that dick laugh.
I too hold my sword inefficiently. It's my hair.
No. Obviously, they're trying to kidnap this girl, which kind of sucks. So we're gonna save her and rob him too, because we're pirates. I mean, that's what we do.
Do we rob him enough that he goes bankrupt?
He's too rich for that.
Oh.
Dispose of them. I hate how that's said. So a little bit more level grinding.
Wow!
When they hit us with their crotch. So I'll show you a little bit more of how these abilities are kind of working now that we're starting to level up. These guys are puny-ass things, so I really don't have to worry about doing special attacks. So just normal attacks can usually kill them in one hit. But another very useful ability you have is Focus. As I mentioned, the moon energy at the top affects your ability to do special attacks, and Focus sacrifices a turn of a character but gives you more points. It's one of those long-term planning things because it helps you cast some of your more powerful special abilities or magic that you need to do. So if you have a character that, say, is not very strong, you might have them focus instead.
So, in terms of the magic, it's not like in other JRPGs, not like in Ni no Kuni, where you use magic and that number stays static until you've recovered it. It is constantly going back up over time, and it's shared by everyone. So, to put it in a sort of a more modern context, is it similar to, like, say, the stamina bar in Zelda: A Link Between Worlds?
Sorta, but it's not only linked to the moon rankings right there, but there's also another thing you'll notice on their health bar that says MP. It's actually magic points, kind of like in a standard RPG, but it's a very small number. It'll say something like 4 MP, or 6 MP, or 2 MP sometimes. That's the amount of times your characters can cast legit spells without healing back up, or healing that particular factor back up. You get these things called magic droplets to get that back. But the ability to cast spells during an actual fight requires both the moon points and magic point as well.
Okay.
I wonder why Vice got the victory screen. He didn't land a single hit. He missed. And she was the one who did the awesome fire attack. He's like, yeah, we showed them.
Yeah, that Alpha Storm was her special attack, and it's great because it ends up attacking in a straight line. She has a particular emphasis in gaining a lot of red ability. I like to keep her with the green element, though, because I'd rather have her as a healer. Vice benefits a lot more from having a red, because he doesn't have as many MP points as Ica does. So what I want him to do, and what you want to take opportunity to do at this point in the game, is level up your red enough to have Vice learn an ability called Incrum, which is what we're going to do as we grind through these levels a little bit.
If you notice, if you're wondering why Vice wears the mono goggle, it's because every time he picks up an item, he spontaneously punches himself in the eye.
He's out in the sun and just blinds him.
Wouldn't that make it worse, though? Like, the glass just gets embedded in his eye, like, yep!
So I'm about to cast a spell here, and also do an item so I can show you the difference. So I gotta heal Vice here. This is a use of an item. Because Ica's faster than Vice, her move tends to hit first. Kind of plays on trajectory towards that. Now Vice is gonna cast a spell, which you notice used my points at the top, but it also uses 1 MP as well. Red spells either do character enhancements or they're fire spells. And I really don't use much magic with Vice other than things that increase his attack and defense, because he's supposed to be my tank.
Okay, so the magic points is sort of like the spells in Dark Souls?
Sorta, yeah. But the nice thing is that you don't have to necessarily use the spells to get stronger in it. As long as you have the equipped color, they get the benefit of it. So, like, you notice I have one person with green and one with red. They'll both get points in green and red because of it.
Oh, nice.
So if you have, like, 4 characters, you can gain 4 points or focus it all on red or green or any of the other colors we start getting in the future.
You're just grinding right now, aren't you?
Well, I just need to get enough to get him to learn Incrum. Incrum is a spell that singles out a single target for at least one of your characters to get a boost in their attack and defense for the rest of the match. And that's particularly useful for this next fight, but just useful overall for Vice, because he's just a heavy hitter. So I wanted to also get him leveled up enough so this next fight doesn't hurt too bad. It actually makes it pretty easy.
Now, like, I watched this first part, and I mentioned before, I'm not big into JRPGs, or at the very least, a lot of turn-based games.
Right.
But, like, this first 15 minutes got me like, I really want to play this game, because I like when games take that turn-based combat system and do something interesting with it.
It's definitely unique. I can't think of too many games that really use that system. I like the shared use of that moon point ability at the top. it's key in this game to know how to manage that properly, because it just keeps people from, say, conserving all of their energy till the end and then just spamming like the heaviest spell they got. Because you can't do that, really. You gotta strategically pick your points in which to use those kinds of attacks. Because if you notice, when people hit you, they can hit you pretty hard. Mm-hmm. You can kill people in like one attack or 3 attacks. Some bad guys you fight can kill one of your guys in 1 hit. There's spells in the game that the spell is kill. As soon as they cast it and you can't block it, you die. So there's gonna be points where you need to play things carefully. So if this was an alive thing, this would be almost impossible.
They have a special move it's called shoot you in the forehead. Guess what that does?
Hey, Dine did it earlier. But look, this is him just being a dick. He's just like, I can't look like I lost a ship to pirates, so I'm gonna sacrifice you and call you a traitor. Dirtbag.
I love how his cape is flowing in the wind.
Well, he's just sitting there going like, my reputation, oh, I'm gonna kick you out a window, motherfucker. What an asshole.
There goes Sigmire.
Poor Sigmire of Katarina.
I made a pickle.
Quite a pickle. This guy is quite a coward, and he's not that strong by himself, despite his admiral status. He's just a rich kid who got spoiled and given the position because he's rich.
So you didn't hear it from us, but we might have accidentally killed her.
My bad.
Well, I didn't really kill him. I more like pushed him out of the giant ship, and he could survive.
Look at the smarmy look he gets. So instead of fighting himself because he's a super fucking coward, he gets his pet or first boss to do it for him. Hello.
I thought he was calling Vice Antonio for a second.
This is Antonio, the bowl thing.
That's amazing.
They have amazing names in this game.
This looks like a Bomberman 64 boss.
He gets more ridiculous. First time playing this guy can be a little bit tough, but if you level enough, he's a cakewalk. Now, this is where you'll see the implementation of teamwork-based strategy really come into play. Because I could just spam the attack button, but that probably wouldn't work for the best. So for Vice, the first thing you want to do, at least in a boss fight in this situation, is to cast a spell Incrim on yourself. And I have enough points to do it at the top, and I have enough MP to do it. Because it only costs like 2. Yeah, 2, so I can... No, I gotta wait for 4, damn it. So I would have to wait till the next turn to be able to cast that. But, so in that case, most likely I can attack with him and it'll be fine, because he can take a good amount of hits. Aika, her use at this point is healing and focusing. That's her only point in this match right now. That builds me only 1 point at the present. As we get more characters, it tends to get more powerful. This is a special attack. As long as you're well leveled, it doesn't hit you too hard. But it does hit in a line, so it can't hit multiple characters.
Shout out to Aika for pirating without pants. That takes skill.
She's wearing shorts.
Are they shorts?
Yeah.
I've been like thinking of, okay, they're shorts.
They're like bloomer shorts sort of thing.
Because I was wondering that the whole time, like, what is she pirating in?
So the bull just ran off.
Where does she put the things she pirates?
Yo ho ho. So that's a critical hit. The nice thing about critical hits is it prevents counterattacks and it does a shit ton of damage. But if an enemy just lightly hit or just does a normal attack on you, you do have an opportunity to randomly do a counterattack. Right now I'm trying to build up my BP gauge because I want to use Vice's strongest attack at this point of the game. We can tell Vice takes things like a champ, and here's a counterattack. Counterattacks are great. I'm doing a shit ton of damage, so now it's time to use his special attack, Cutlass Fury. You'll be using this attack a lot, because it's great.
As smooth? Couldn't they just call it smooth?
Smooth!
That was pretty smooth of you.
You'll also notice, as I mentioned, Aika has more MP points than Vice, meaning that she's more likely to actually be casting spells versus Vice. Vice is the heavy hitter. And see, that's it. When you have Vice a little higher level with Incrum and he does a special attack, it does a shit ton of damage. Also, you notice in boss fights the music will change depending on the circumstances. So when you're kicking the thing's ass, this happy music starts playing. If he's kicking your ass, it's a little bit more dire sounding.
If I were Antonio, I'd just jump off the ship. Fuck it.
See, he's already dead.
Yeah, I always wondered in JRPG when they do like a super awesome cutscene attack, like, what if after they do all that, like, the little prompt just shows up? Miss.
Son of a bitch. Usually this guy will level you up, but I beat him up too bad. And I got another Moonberry!
Wow.
Extremely lucky. That's extremely lucky. I'm gonna learn so many special attacks before I'm supposed to.
Yes, I do have genitals.
Now I call upon Francisco Rodriguez!
Modesto. So we let him escape somehow, but we chase him. Oh man, we left him on the ship for like 5 minutes.
Oh man, he didn't leave during the entire fight.
Told you voice acting not too great in this game, but if you see, they don't really talk other than text. But they're both very likable characters. Ika's got that kind of tomboyish spunk, and Vice just seems generally friendly and direct, and pirates are just cool, so come on.
Yeah, I mean, look, his sleeves have suspenders.
Sleeve spenders.
I was gonna say, he has like a kinda cool outfit, but the sleeves killed it. Like, why are there buckles on the... Just leave the sleeves. You didn't need to do that.
Maybe they weren't there before, but they got cut, so he's like, I gotta attach belts to make this work. I only want one shirt.
Just sew it up, stupid.
I'm an RPG protagonist. I need more belts.
So, I mean, at this point, you can see we had to save this girl here. We don't know much about her yet. She's mysterious and she looks different, but here's a weird flash thing. Looks like space.
I see. Are we going into Antonio's flashback?
Poor Antonio. The thing is, the names in this game are great. There's a lot of just, like, people with Spanish names.
Please tell me there's a Rodimus.
You know what? There could be. We'll find out. I know there's an Antonio 2. Or Antonio II, however you like to say it.
El segundo, por favor.
Piero dormiendo. So we wake her up in the most friendly way possible. Hi!
Are you awake? What is that face?
I'm your pirate doctor.
So here's mysterious girl who... You know what? Here's the nice thing. She doesn't have amnesia like most people would give her. She just can't tell you what she's doing. There's a difference.
Because she doesn't know?
No, she knows. Shut.
Ah, okay.
So, you might be wondering why we're following a group of pirates, because pirates are supposed to be bad guys. But in this world, there's two different kinds of pirates, and they explain it. There's blue rogues, and then there's the black pirates. And the black pirates are the ones that rob pretty much any vessel. It could be mainly civilians, anything that's defenseless.
Even their own ship?
Even their own ship. Blue rogues only rob, like, the Valuans, pretty much. They're still criminals, but they're kind of more like Robin Hood. If you notice, there was an opportunity for me to select multiple answers. You know how when you read earlier, there was that whole, like, Vice the loser kind of title?
Unimpressive.
Vice the unimpressive. Well, it's something known as swashbuckler rating. Because you're a pirate and you're wanted, you're going to have notoriety in the world of the actions of what you do. So, depending on how you answer questions or settle situations, you increase or decrease your swashbuckler rating, which will affect how things happen later in the game, how people perceive you. So, you know, if you're cowardly and you run away from every fight, or you just say stupid, awkward things, people will view you negatively. But if you fight bravely and you say the charming things, your swashbuckler rating goes up and you start getting benefits and perks from it. So, because I said something kind of suave, you heard that kind of indicator, just to say, oh yeah, you said the cool thing. Your swashbuckler rating's going up.
And if you don't say the cool thing, you just hear a sad kazoo?
Yeah, pretty much. But the funny thing is, everyone calls you out, and I was like, that was stupid to say.
Did you guys hear that kazoo? Because I just did. Vice, what the fuck?
Hey, Vice, I heard you being a loser.
I wasn't even on your ship and I heard that.
Fina's likable. She's definitely an opposite character from Aika. But that's what is kind of amusing about her. Oh man, I forgot my homework.
My parents will be home in 10 minutes.
I'd like to point out that this character is in the bed under the sheets. You never see that in games back then.
Oh yeah, good point. They're usually like on top of the bed.
Exactly, because they don't, because it's hard to animate.
I said the cool thing.
I said the cute thing. Check out this cool guy. Hi, cute guy.
I heard you say the cool thing. That was pretty cool.
It's gotta be doing a cool beat in my head.
So this ship's known as the Albatross. This is our father's ship.
Albatross!
Albatross! But we're basically a crew member on this ship, at least because he's our father and everything like that. So, we've been, Vice and Aika pretty much have been pirates since they're little babbies. So, they're veterans, but they're just way young as well. To kind of explain a little bit with them, you know, at this point, we know that Vice's father's the captain. With Aika's parents died when she was really young, and Dine, Vice's father, kind of took care of her and treated her like a daughter until she grew up and could move out. So they have a really close relationship. Aika and Vice have known each other all their lives, and it's close to like a sisterly friend, super friend bond. That's why they seem very comfortable around each other. That's Vice just really not wanting you to see his chin. Don't talk about your father that way.
Dad, did you hear me say the cool thing?
Son, it wasn't cool, no.
Oh.
So this character is basically... Oh, he just decided to turn that way.
see the ship taking a nosedive? Let me tell you a story of how I joined the...
So he's telling us that he wants us to pilot the ship back to our home base here. Which is one of the cooler parts of an RPG of this manner. The overworld, in a sense, is the sky. So you can't necessarily walk on the sky, so you have a ship. So we're going to be flying the Albatross back to our home island here. And this can have a little advertisement to teach you how to do it, just in case you don't know how to control it. But I do, so it doesn't matter. Just give you an idea, you can control its direction with this. If you use your triggers, you can elevate up and down. This has more effects later in the game, but can be used to kind of maneuver yourself to reach certain items and discoveries and stuff. Which you'll see a discovery here in a minute. Watch the compass. See it being all wacky?
Yeah.
That means you're over a discovery. So if you press A, voila, discovery.
It means you're crashing.
Then you're crashing. Also, a huge One Piece reference.
Oh god.
I don't. Well, see, these guys came out around the same time, so I don't know necessarily it is, but it sort of is.
It could be. I mean, if they're gonna point out D like that.
Yeah, it could be D.
What year did it come out?
Same year that One Piece came out.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, discoveries are little things that, of course, as they sound, no one's found yet, so you discovered them. It's a good way to earn extra money, and also it does have other effects, but discovering things, you can go to these sailors' guilds and sell the discoveries to them. And depending on how quickly you sell them, they'll give you more money, because obviously the longer we take to mention it, someone else might discover it first, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we've heard of that, but we'll still pay for the information, but... So when we get a chance, we're gonna go back and do that. But first I'm gonna catch some fish. Fish!
Skyfish, okay.
Skyfish! So if you notice those big cloud currents right there, with the current model of ship, we can't go through those. It's a little bit of that blocking of the map, so it kind of controls where we go. But first, if you notice on the overworld, or the sky, we can get in fights just like it was earlier. Now, here's where you can see really the elements come into effect. This shell dude takes like no damage to green element. Even with Vice, it's like not enough to kill it. So I'd have to switch to red element to really do some damage to him. But right now, I need some green so I can get some more health spells. And by having two of them, they get more points in that factor. And plus he's almost dead, so it doesn't matter.
You know, when the camera spun, I thought one of the guys was like, hey guys, watch me do a battle roll with the ship. No, 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 no!
Let me tell you another story from up there. I was like, another moonberry, damn it. So you can also interact with ships like any kind of NPC walk and be like, hey, merchant ship, what's up?
Not you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you murdered that shit.
I'm just a merchant, leave me alone.
No, we're pirates.
So I'm gonna try to leave this current over here. See you guys, I'm gonna travel where I want. Nope, you just stop. It's kind of a wall.
Yeah, like your dad is just gonna let you drive the ship into oblivion.
You're driving to that heavy wind current, stop it. So that's our island right there, but first I'm just driving around like a dork. It's fun, it's actually fun and easy maneuverable to drive the ship around. And the only part that's a little less fun about it is sometimes you don't want to always fight people, and because it's random encounters, you do run into them a lot when you're on the ship like this. Now that we did all that green spell shit, let's see. Oh god, loopers.
Do you ever kill loopers?
Yes, but it's very hard to kill loopers, as you're gonna see. Here's the problem with loopers. They're all over the game, but they have like the most ridiculous dodge mechanic where you can never seem to hit them, and they're completely invulnerable to red spells, and they run away very quickly. The reason you probably want to kill them, though, is a lot of times they do drop good items. Killing them more often than not drops moonberries rather frequently, if you can manage to kill them. Later in the game, actually no, I won't spoil that, but there's much bigger versions of loopers later.
Leapers.
Bleeper, blurp. These shell guys, honestly, it's kind of worth grinding on these guys because they do drop this thing called a Maroka shell, which is a decent defensive accessory you can have early in the game. You can buy one later, but why would I buy it if I can get it for free and level up too? No.
I like how the enemy is showing signs of fatigue.
Yeah, whenever they get damaged enough, they'll usually show a sign, which is useful because a lot of times you might see 6 of the same looking enemy, and it helps you figure out which ones to kill. And that's what's great about Alpha Storm, just wipe them out.
Is it over already?
Stabs himself in the back.
I'm not good at this.
He cuts his back and he has like a giant buckle there now.
Fixed it.
Look, I never learned stitching, but I learned buckling, alright?
But Vice, just give it to me, I got it, just...
I'm very confused what swashbuckler actually means. I thought it meant more belts. So now we're flying back to our home base island.
You remember how to land the ship, right?
We'll get the new girl to do it.
I'm out here.
I guess I have to emote or something.
Air turbulence falls off.
Clearly she's unique.
Yeah, she's looking off the ship all anime-like.
Ooh, lady. Do you like my buckles?
Gotta be putting in 3 more.
So one of the interesting Easter eggs is, you know how commonly in 3D, or really any Sonic video game, whenever you don't move Sonic at all, eventually he just crosses his arm and starts stamping his feet. And
Yeah.
Vice does that as well if you don't move him around enough. There's a little homage to their own character.
He does look kind of like Sonic.
What is wrong with that kid?
He's trying to do Naruto runs. What I like about this game is that despite the fact that, you know, obviously there were some graphical limitations, the characters look unique. Like, each one looks different.
I love how everybody looked up at the ship like, yep, we're gonna die, this is it.
So, here's the cool thing about this island. The fortress is actually inside the island, so we get to hide the ship in there, so no one can see us.
But everybody just saw you.
Well, they can see me. We're talking about, like, the Valuans or something if they decide to show up.
Oh. I
do flag.
Breaks the sail.
I do flag poorly.
God damn it. No, he's like, I got it, puts a buckle on the fucking ship.
The buckle pirate. Well, I mean, it's bad enough that he used a buckle to put a pair of glasses on.
You'll notice the other half of the glasses are gone. Thanks.
I can see really well out of this one eye. But yeah, this is the intros, the Skies of Arcadia. What do you think thus far?
I'm liking it.
I want to play the game.
I already want to play it myself too, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, and this is just the beginning. It gets really good, and the characters are interesting, and it gets emotional at points, and the music is really good, as you can hear.
Yeah, it's got a lot of good touches to it.
Yeah.
It looks like it has a pretty solid base to it, but they put a lot of other good, smaller touches on top of it, which I think is something that you really need in a great game.
There's got to be things that bring you back to playing it. Like, it's multiple times, especially for RPGs that can be really tough. This is a game that I can play straight through, beat it, put it down for a couple years, go back, and it's just as good as it was when I played it the first time. And the ending will make you cry. In a good way. It's one of those endings you get to and you're like, it's over. Oh.
And it really was. I mean, there was never another Skies of Arcadia, was there?
No, but they did have both Vice and Ica make cameos in other Sega-based games. Like, I think Suikoden, I think? It was one of the games that was basically a strategy game. There was a cameo with both of their characters. With, so you got a character that looks like Ica with that same kind of unique hair.
Were they in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing? Were they just like in a giant ship?
You know what? I think they actually were in that game.
Oh, to clarify, you are playing Skies of Arcadia Legends.
Yes.
What's the difference between that version and the original Dreamcast version?
Beyond some basic graphical enhancements, there are actually added bonus areas in the game for stories, different kind of bounties you can get. There weren't really major overhauls on how the game plays or story-wise, but there were definitely upgrades on how long the game is and different things you could do. It runs smoother, too. It's the better version. It's what the creator of the game called it their director's cut, so this was their preferred way of viewing it. It was also a very unique RPG at the time because JRPGs are generally a very male-oriented gaming market, but this was a unique one because it was the director of the game was a woman, and also primary creator as well. So a lot of the writing has a little bit more of a tender tendency to it. Doesn't seem so focused on the action as much as some other games. I mean, the action's there, but it's definitely more emphasized in seeing this world and experiencing these characters. And it's just a cool world to be in. As you see, it's cool to be a sky pirate flying through the sky.
But is it really a sky when there is no ground?
Well, there is ground. You just no one goes there. No one.
They don't know what water is, do they?
There's water, but it's
rainwater.
It's kind of weird when you see like an island that has a waterfall on it, because the waterfall will go like from the top of this down to a island lower than it, and then the waterfall will just go off the edge of the island down to the cloud surface below. So it's like, how's the water coming back exactly?
Buckles.
Buckles, man. Buckles do it all.